Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing Little Women. This is a remake and a retelling of a classic story and is directed by Greta Gerwig and stars Saoirse Ronan, Florence Pugh, Emma Watson, Timothée Chalamet, Laura Dern and Meryl Streep. And this version of the film looks at how Greta Gerwig has crafted a story drawn on both the classic novel and the writings of Louisa May Alcott and unfolds as the author's alter ego Jo Marsh. And ultimately it reflects back and forth on her fictional life. In this take of the film, the beloved story of the Marsh sisters, four young women, each determined to live their life on their own terms, is both timeless and timely. Now look, this is a story I've always liked. I'm a huge fan of the 90s film with Winona Ryder playing Jo and a variety of others in that film, and Christian Bale as well as playing Laurie. I've actually never read the book, which I really kind of want to do now. And I was kind of looking forward to this film because I think Greta Gerwig is a very interesting filmmaker. I prefer her as a filmmaker over an actress. Not saying she's a bad actress, I just prefer her as director. And I thought with her first film, Lady Bird, which was fantastic and also starred Saoirse Ronan, was a great introduction to her as a filmmaker. And to follow that along and doing a adaptation of a classic book, that's always sort of difficult with particular filmmakers, especially being their second film. But on most part, I think she accomplished it. I think she crafted an interesting and solid movie that was well put together. All the acting's fantastic in it. And it's a story you can really get behind. Ultimately, Greta takes this story and does something a little different with it. The 90s version, and there's also the original movie that came out in the 30s or 40s, I'm not 100% sure, where it sort of is a sort of a linear story. It starts at the start and goes to the end. This sort of breaks it up and goes back and forth in time. And it sort of shows them in the present time of the story. And then it flashes back at particular moments to show their relationships and the things that they've been through and who they are as people and young women. So that was a different take on it. So ultimately, even though it's a classic story and it's a remake, Greta Gerwig brings her own style to it and does something sort of different with it. And I kind of liked that. I thought that was impressive. Like I said, all the acting is fantastic. I think all the actresses they have as the four Marsh sisters are really great. They work off each other really well and are sort of solid. And you believe that they're sisters as well as friends offset, I guess. Laura Dern's really good as well. And even though Emma Watson and all the other actors do a really great job, the real standouts for me in this film are obviously Saoirse Ronan as Jo. I think she brings an interesting element to it that you haven't quite seen, which I liked. She works really well with Greta Gerwig. I think they have a really great working relationship. And Greta seems like one that allows the actors to sort of play and try and work out the scenes together. And I think, Saoirse Ronan is really great at that. She's great at improvising. She's a brilliant actress anyway. And she's really a character you can get behind. Is really the driving force for a lot of the story that unfolds. And I really liked that. I thought Florence Pugh was really great as Amy. I think she's a solid actress. I'm a big fan of hers, and I think she played the character in an interesting way. Through the flashbacks, you see her as a younger girl, and she acts kind of like that, and it's kind of a little funny to see her play it like that. She did a really great job with it. I thought Laura Dern was solid in this, playing the motherly figure. I like the fact that when you see her, she's all smiles and everything, but ultimately there's quieter moments where you see that's just sort of a bit of a front. She's struggling with a lot of things, and her husband's off in war, so it's really about her trying to hold everything together and how she raises these four women who are really strong and very driven, and I like that. But the real standout for me, the actor, I was surprised by, with Timothée Chalamet, who plays Laurie, the rich young, friend that lives not too far away in this big mansion that's right across from where the Marsh family lives. He was really great in this. He's an actor I haven't really warmed to. I've seen him in a variety of things, and I'm slowly starting to like him, especially performances in Beautiful Boy and a variety of other films that he's done in the bit parts. But I thought he was really great in this. There's a coolness to him. There's something about him that really works in different periods of time. And I'd love to see him in a 40s or 50s kind of movie. He had this real cool edge that felt a lot like James Dean and actors like that. So I think he would work really well in the 50s. And I think he's really great in this. He has some really great moments to shine. You see how much he cares for the Marsh sisters, especially Jo. And he really wants to help and support them. And I really love that about him. And this, to me, is one of his best performances that I've seen him in so far. It's kind of beautifully shot. I like the choices that Greta Gerwig makes within the film of the shots and how they're set up. Like there's a really great scene between Jo and Beth on the beach and the wind's blowing and you just see the sand blowing as they're hugging each other. I think when the sisters are all together are some of the best scenes. You really get to see them interacting, you really get to see that they're different, they bicker, but they get along, and it just feels kind of real. One of my favourite moments is Joe and Meg are at a dance, and Meg hurts her ankle. And ultimately, Laurie, played by Timothée Chalamet, takes them home. And as she walks through the door, their mother just sort of accepts him, and he sort of comes in, and it's to see a normalcy I think he's sort of lacked in his life. He comes from being rich, he lives with his uncle, who's a very rich man, and Laurie himself is very rich. You just see the joy that they have, the Marsh sisters have, and the family, the Marsh family, and stands there and he watches, and I really love that scene. He really wants to connect with this family and help them, and ultimately he's falling in love with Joe, which I kind of really like the elements there. I think that was really well done. I think Saoirse Ronan has a really good scene towards the end of the film after everything's transpired, and it really shows her talking about how she never wanted love, she never wanted to get married, but she feels so alone, and the way she expresses that to her mother in this particular scene is just really great, that she gets so sick of being told love is all women are fit for. It's something you see in the trailer, and just the way she delivers that dialogue in that particular scene is very powerful. Now, the only things I really have a little criticism about is the way the story is told. It's sort of set in present day of the story and flashes back, but there's too much back and forth for me that when I started to feel for a character, they drew me out of that and put me into something else, and I just felt that was quite distracting. And the fact that the story starts at present time diminished the impact I think that particular emotional scenes had on me. And because of that, I didn't feel connected to some of the characters I wish I did. Overall, I thought it was a solid movie, and for most part, I did enjoy my experience with it. Final thoughts. At the centre of this, it's really about a celebration of young women and women in general. I think this film really captures the essence of that, and I think it's a very important film. I'm glad a story like this is still relevant in today's day and age, and more relevant than ever, I think, in what's been going on in Hollywood. And it's about young women navigating through life and finding out who they are and where they want to go and what they love and the type of life they want to live and the type of person they want to be. I'm going to give Little Women 2019 3.5 out of 5. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit subscribe down the bottom. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.